Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, June 28th. We are more than halfway throughout the calendar year of 2021, whew, or at least I think so. Yeah, actually, a few days will be actually halfway. I mean, just 31 days in December. But we're on our way. How's everybody doing? Big news today, obviously, the Superman casting. Also, the passing of Julian Sands, which sucks. He's one of my actors. If you've seen you know, if you ever watched Stargate SG-1, he played the Doc guy on there. He played uh, the Warlock, which is where I first saw him, and he's been in a couple of different things. But yeah, he passed away. I guess he got lost hiking, and they found his remains earlier this morning. Or they actually found his remains a few days ago, and they just positively identified him. Ironically, he died in my hometown of San Bernardino. He was out there hiking, and that's where it happened. So, age 65. Let me go ahead and bring that up real quick. Let me say hi to the chat first, because for those of you who are just streaming, filing in because of delay, uh, once again, happy Wednesday morning. Hello, Aaron. How you doing? Yes, Vince, that would be great if you could. Hi, Rhea. I saw you in an unmasked Max the other day. Tell that fool to put that mask back on. I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, you're like Carmen Sandiego. I was asking you the other day if you had a private jet, man, because I need to sleep in the cargo bay, get around. Yes, hit the like and subscribe. Poindexter Lounge plus the Sci-Fi Center is one, which is right there, youtube.com/at the Sci-Fi Center. Okay. How are you, Jalen? Yeah, it sucks, man. 65. It's like, dude, just like every time I open up a show, we're commemorating, or mentioning the passing of somebody who probably gone way too soon. But it's like, wow, I mean, we go from the Iron Sheik at 82 to this guy at 65. Some of these guys make it into their 90s, and it's more of a celebration of a good run. But then you have people who tragically die like this, and it just sucks, man. How are you doing, Larry? What's going on, Jacob? Oh, what's going? No, yeah. I'm just playing Max. I was very surprised to see him. Granted, he had sunglasses on, but I mean, if you look at the mask and you can see his eyes already, you just like Photoshop his eyes onto his picture, and then you want to know what he looks like. But yeah, I was surprised to see him. I really didn't think it was him at first, and then I saw you with him, and I'm like, okay, that's got to be Max. I'm like, wow. So there you go. I always say, if I can show my right now, I don't have my face on because I'm still in the process of getting this home studio where I want it to be, and right now it's just not presentable. It will be soon, I promise. But yeah, but for the most part, I mean, you guys see me streaming from the center, you know what I look like. I have a face for Avatar, so if I can show my face, then anybody can. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, damn, she's on Air Force One, man. Yes, they did. They found him in the mountains of San Bernardino. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up right now, real quick. All right, let's see. Present, share. All right, there we go. British actor Julian Sands confirmed. Come on. Dead months after vanishing in California mountains, Los Angeles, June 27th. British-born actor Julian Sands, best known for his Oscar-celebrated film A Room with a View. Oh, I forgot about that one. Was confirmed dead on Tuesday, 5 months after he went missing while out on a hike in a snow-covered mountains in Southern California. He was 65. Man, I know these guys like the nature, but listen, I'm from San Bernardino. I know those mountains, and I know how it is when it snows up in mountains. That's why I stay in the city. San Bernardino is famous for its mountains, Big Bear, all those people. It's a tourist attraction, but they're also very dangerous. And they even tell you. I don't know how many times that they would have a LA correspondent out there looking for somebody who got lost, because it's really, really, really easy to get lost, and it's a dangerous trail. And they always recommend never going alone. So I'm guessing, obviously, it's the fact that it took him 5 minutes, he was alone or got separated. But wow. Mostly skeletal human remains discovered by hikers on June 25th in the vicinity where Sands had vanished were positively identified by the San Bernardino County coroner as belonging to the actor, the county sheriff's department said. The manner of his death remained under investigation, waiting for the test results, the department said in the statement. Sands, an avid outdoorsman and mountaineer, was reported missing on January 13th. Wow. After he had gone hiking alone early in the day, the Baldy Bow area of San Gabriel Mountains, about 50 miles northeast of Los Angeles. That's in San Bernardino County. That's basically when you're driving from LA into San Bernardino, you start to see it become mountainous to the east. That's where he was at. The large sloping area below the crest of Mount Baldy is a popular destination for skiers, climbers, backpackers. But authorities warned that when the heavy snow from weeks of winter storms had made the area treacherous for outdoor recreation, overnight temperatures were dipping into the mid-20s Fahrenheit 4 to -4 Celsius that week. Wow. A search party organized at the time was pulled 24 hours later due to avalanche risk and poor trail conditions. Several subsequent searches came up empty-handed, including a major sweep conducted days before Sands' remains were ultimately found in Mount Baldy Wilderness area, according to the sheriff's department. Wow, that just sucks. So there you have that. All right, rest in peace. 1958, 2023, 65 years old. It's way too young to be going. Way too young to be going. All right, going to say hi. I see your a question, Jacob, but I'm going to get to the article real quick. So, yeah, it sucks. Anybody who's got 20 grand can get one, I guess. So that's just a lot of money for that little square. But hey, she's Wonder Woman, so why not? Yeah, I saw your typo there, buddy. I'm used to the one being here with typos. I remember Boxing Elena. Yeah, he was a world class actor, man. World class actor. All right, so let's get to the big elephant in the room. Earlier today, we had a casting of David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan. So I'm not as familiar with either one of these people. They look like great casting. Cornsweet looks like Henry Cavill, so for me that's a plus because that's the Superman I wanted. They look like great, solid castings. My thoughts on this is, they were kind of reporting this for days now, and now they had the finalist, and out of all the ones, he looked like Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill looks like Superman, so I was on board. Rachel Brosnahan, I guess somebody told me I need to watch the Marvelous Miss Maisley. I'm going to tell you, I have no plans ever on watching that show. It looks like the antithesis of what I am and what I watch. So, but I'm sure she's been Emmy nominated for it. So I'm going to go ahead and take your guys' word for it that she's great. Everything looks cool. How I feel about these right now, I am intrigued and I'm interested. Excited is not a word I'm going to use when it comes to DC going forward. I've learned from DC, both new regime and current regime, not to get excited about anything that they're doing right now. Then I'm not going to be negative about it. I'm on the fence. I'm still in the club. I'm still a fan, but I'm a fan that, instead of, like I said, being in the arena with my sign and my T-shirt, I'm sitting comfortably at an arm's length, safe distance at my house with the remote control. And that's just how I feel. And plus, we have in my opinion, a long time before we see anything. We're probably about a year or so away from a full-on trailer. Depending on what happens with the Screen Actors Guild, I have a feeling that partly why this announcement was made today was to distract from the Flash news, but I think a bigger thing was the fact that if the SAG after actually strikes, none of these people would be available for Comic-Con anyway. So there's no way to really go in with a bang. Now that I see where the SAG is as far as striking goes, I really think they're going to hit the button at least for a while. As far as the strike goes, I heard that strike could go into October, which would be devastating. I don't think DC is going to be at Comic-Con. So I think, why not make this announcement now? It's a strong casting. I mean, like I said, I have no issues with the casting. Uh, Somebody asked me as far as Lex goes, Skarsgård, as far as Lex goes, once again, anybody that they picked is going to be fine with me, because whether they look like whatever or not, that's what makeup artists are for, and effects and all that goes. So I'm more concerned about another Lex Luthor again, because I think that's old hat. But I don't know what the script is. Like I said, it's the same thing with the Authority. I mean, Authority is going to be in a movie out here, but I don't know at to what level. Cameo, what do we got? Who's going to be the main villain? There's just too much about this situation right now that I don't know about, and that's so far away. I'm not going to say I don't care, because I do. It's obviously it's within the realm of discussion of things we talk about. But the two factors that it is 2 years away before I'm sitting in a seat in front of this movie. And as you clearly have seen, there's a lot can happen in 2 years. I don't know where DC Films, DC Studio is going to be in 2 years. I don't know where a lot of the people that are making the decisions are going to be what the industry is going to be in 2 years. I don't know where the fans are going to be as far as DC Films or DC Studios is in 2 years. I think you got to be real careful to make an assumption that new means instant money. So today and tomorrow and the next couple of days, there'll be a spike in discussion, a spike in interest. But then that 2 years sets in, and then what do we got? We still got 2 more movies from a universe that, for the most part, won't exist. So yeah, 2025 might as well be 1,000 years away from me right now. Now, once I see a trailer or a production stills, then I start getting closer. I start coming off the fence and being like, okay, that's cool. But right now, just casting announcements, it's a big step for them. It's a big step for the process. But for me as a fan, I have learned. I have gotten my degree in DC movies. And that degree is about as good as any master's degree anywhere in not investing having any emotional investment or in any, fair degree of time into anything that they're doing right now until I see that they can actually finish something. So interested, intrigued, aware. Those are terms that I would use to describe the casting. Excited? No. I'm not going to get excited until we're well within the process. And even then, I'm a franchise guy. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not a one movie at a time guy when it comes to my superhero things anymore. I was at pre-2000s, yeah, because that's all we had. But once you've opened up the Pandora's box of shared universes, and these characters are being sold as a shared universe, it's probably gonna be a few years into this where I really get excited. I'm gonna have to see that they're committed to actually, going the full 9 yards. And as we get deeper in, then I'll be like, okay, this is cool. But like I said, I got my degree. I should print it out and put it up on the wall of learning my lesson with DC when it comes to their movies. So I'm going to be at a safe distance rooting. I'm not rooting for this film. I think James Gunn is an awesome storyteller. I think he is the guy that can get this going. I think he is the guy that can tell a great story. I don't have any issue with these castings. I'm not going to probably have any issue with any of his castings. I just have a big problem right now with diving all the way in. I did that, and I was left holding a half-empty bag. So I'm going to take a cautious approach to this, and, we'll bring it up. We'll talk about it. I'm not going to dedicate a lot of time to it other than the actual day of the announcement. So, I'm not going to be, every day bringing up David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan. It's not going to happen because we're so far away from putting, people in front of cameras and pre-production and all this stuff that it's just not news for me. And the last time I did this, it was back in 2013 when I got super excited once I saw, I saw, Superman. I saw, trailers. I saw all this. I dove into the deep end of the pool. So I'm remembering how I felt then, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna sit on the that nice little folding Chase lounge chair outside the pool and watch everybody else dive in and see if everybody comes up. Okay, so that's where I am with that one. So let's see. I don't want to get too. This is the Midnight Express. It's going to be a real quick one because I got Secret Invasion to watch. All right. All right. So yeah, I just answered this. Yeah. So I gave my opinion on this. Like I said, I am cautiously optimistic about all of this, but I've learned my lesson. I've learned what DC has taught me. So I'm watching. But like I said, just like when I go to see a wrestling event, you know that guy that's sitting there with the sign and the T-shirt and the belt and everything else. I'm not that guy right now. I'm the guy who will order the pay-per-view at home, or I'll watch it. I'll watch the Monday night shows at home, and if I don't like them, I can turn them. I'm not the guy that's all the way in there now, paying the ticket to be there in person to immerse himself into it. I'm not there yet, and I might not. I probably won't be there in regards to DC films for about another 4 or 5 years till I see them launch this, till I see them take a next step into this, and when I see them maybe finish a chapter in this. Because if they finish a chapter, they'll do what the previous clowns never did, which is finish something. And for me, that's big. I need to see you, and that's not just for me. In general, in retail, in commerce, people need it's your resume. Your selling point is the fact that you can actually do what you're saying you're going to do. You could cast this from top to bottom and give the most brilliant cast in the world. If all you get is one movie out of a universe that you've been boasting about, then it's you know. So I'm in for the long haul as far as being that cautious guy on the fence. And if I see something I like, I'm going to say it. Like I said, I think if James Gunn's slate comes to fruition and all the stuff he laid out, and the first half of chapter 1 comes out, I'm interested in the. Sorry, I'm interested in the Swamp Thing. Paradise Lost has me. Superman Legacy, I'm on the fence about. I'm kind of another Superman. This is the third one in less than 18, 17 years. Batman Brave and Bold. I'm not drawn in yet by that, but I haven't seen anything yet from it though. Creature Commandos, I'll probably pass on it until I get around to the parts of the storyline where it becomes relevant again, and then I'll watch it. Yeah, a couple of things he announced are real fun things that I'm looking forward to, and I think he can pull them off if everything goes right. But once again, we're talking about a Superman Legacy movie that is probably not going to do the type of numbers that people are conditioned for a superhero movie to do. It's just going to take some time for people to embrace another Superman, and then you're going to have the man babies who always are going to want the guy working on a current Superman to put on the screen the Superman from their childhood, the complete version that they're comfortable with. So you're going to have those guys. So your box office may not be the greatest, but that's going to be even more important to me because say Superman pulls in 390 or 400, barely breaks 400, and it's an excellent movie. The test for me is going to be, does the studio and the shareholders and the bean counters stick with it? If they see that he's put together a masterpiece and the box office doesn't necessarily reflect it, are we going to do what has always been done with executive fanboys and pundits and make knee-jerk aspersions about it? Or were we going to sit in a room and say, damn, this was a great movie. We see where you're going. Number 2 is greenlit. And you know what? Number 3 is greenlit as well. That's going to be big for me because until I see that, and that's why, James Gunn's 10-year plan, he's got a 4.0 out of 5. How long is he into this contract? If they were to come out and say James Gunn has a 10-year plan and he's guaranteed to be here and we're committed to him for the next decade, I start taking that degree of DC off the wall a little bit because now I got a good feeling that this guy's going to be around. But I don't trust it. I know he's going to make a good movie. I think he can. Like I said, I have enough evidence from James Gunn to know that I'm probably going to like these movies. My problem is am I going to get another one? Am I going to get the universe that he lays out if a lot of this first chapter doesn't pull in a lot of money? And that's got to be on the minds of even the casual fan that has invested their money in what came before. So, all right, let's go down here. All right. Just goes to show you don't hike exercise is a bad way to stay inside. Goof up on the computer. I like I said, a lot of people hike, and a lot of people die too. A lot of people are lost. I mean, I was watching this news story about Julian Sands, and they showed the statistics of how many people get lost in those very mountains. And I'm like, listen, I'm city folk. I could get lost on the surface streets, and I'm afraid I might starve there. So you damn sure won't be catching me in the mountains. I've always told you guys my rule. Mankind has developed to the point where wildlife and nature are over here and I'm over there and we coexist just fine. It's when we clash is when you start getting horror movies and stuff. So William stays out of the wilderness. Mountains are pretty, but I can't be out there exploring them. I had my fill of lifetime in Santa Cruz. Hey, listen, one course in Army land navigation, that was enough to tell William that I never, ever need to voluntarily be in the mountains again. All right, and there's no way for me to get lost in the mountains because you know why? Because as soon as I see that we're heading towards the mountains, I'm turning around. And I'm not trying to be joking. I know who I am. But this guy he was not a professional. Julian Sands hiked all the time. He hiked all over the world. So if a guy like that can get caught up in that, then you wouldn't even, if you didn't find me in about 4 hours, I'm dead. All right, guys, anybody watching, family, listen, if for some reason, let's not even venture out to why. If I got lost in the mountains and you don't find me right quick, I'm dead. Save that money, save that search, save those hundreds of thousands, spend it on a big-ass event where there's free food and Starbucks and wrestling and everything. Throw it on my memorial. Because if I'm lost in the mountains, I'm dead. I've been eaten by something. I fell on something. I drowned in something. Save the helicopter fuel. Just go ahead and get the little reef for me. And, because I'm dead. That's it. I am not a child of the wilderness. I am city folk. And the wilderness is where city folk like me go to die. All right. I was in Big Bear at the cabins New Year's. It's crazy cold. Yeah. And in January, it's really cold. There's avalanche alarms up there. Hell, we were living in the city, and they were, San Bernardino City, and you'd hear about those. So, yeah. I can tell from the social media interactions that people are still sore. And you know what? What am I? And I see a lot of people, going after those people, too. I see a lot of people being dicks today. But like I said, those people are of a different level. But as for the people who are sore over it, I can't really blame them. I mean, I'm disappointed as somebody who sells stuff to people. I don't think it's a good move to handle things the way they did. And every time you bring up a new Superman, no matter who it was, it's a constant reminder of how they mishandled this one. So that's just the reality of how they've conducted themselves. It's just really, there's no way around that. If you're going to go forward, and James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to go forward, this is part of it. This is part of it. There are consequences of how all involved handled this is out there. I can't tell anybody not to be upset. I will ask that you be respectful and be professional when you're in public discourse. But understand this. Even if Zack Snyder had done his 5-story arc, we were in the neighborhood of a new Superman anyway. So I'm not going to not accept James Gunn's Superman over Henry Cavill, simply because at some point there was always going to be a new Superman. Where I do understand where people are upset is how unprofessional Henry Cavill's entire tenure of Superman was handled by executives and management. And they have earned that mistrust. Everybody. Previous regime, current regime, That's just something that they're going to have to live with, and that they're going to have to tune it out if they're going to go forward. But that is a valid frustration, and that is a valid reason not to want to invest your time in to this. I say go ahead, do it. What do you have to lose? Oops, my bad. I thought I played. He played Djinn and Wishmaster. No, that guy. Oh, I forgot. I know what you're talking about. That guy is creepy. Wishmaster is one of the cooler movies. It's just cool. I remember literally one of the guy. I think he made a comment. Well, why don't I go fuck myself? Somebody, and the genie made him fuck himself. He in the jail, or he wanted. I wanted out of this prison cell. So the genie. Spoiler alert! It's a 30-year-old movie. The genie pulled his body through the bars and just crushed him. Those movies are great. Never too many Wishmaster movies. I do not watch soccer. I tried doing the World Cup in 2010, and it's just not enough action for me. There's violence, but not enough violence for me. It's the sport moves at a pace I just couldn't appreciate. So I know it's the world's most popular sport. So I'm in the minority. Are you a Rams? No, I'm neither. I hate both of those teams. The reason why I hate both of those teams is my entire childhood, both of those owners were the worst owners of football, and they spent my entire childhood trying to get out of LA. So I have no love for either one of them. One of them is here in Vegas, and the other one is in LA. But like I said, when I was there, all Georgia Frontier, who's the owner right now, all she did was spend her time trying to get out. Al Davis, all he did was try to muscle people for a new stadium. And then he went up to Oakland and Oakland Alameda Coliseum, one of the worst stadiums in the world, one of the most dangerous, it's falling apart. It's crap. On a promise that's not in writing that he was going to get a brand new stadium. They didn't give him one. Tried to sue the NFL, tried to sue Oakland, lost. Then he passes away. Then the son moved it to Vegas because he got a stadium deal. Now the Oakland A's are about to move here because of that same stadium. Yeah, so no, neither. Yeah, the universe is telling you that the Oakland Coliseum has literally been around since the days of Caesar, and it probably needs to. But they don't want to pay for a new one, and that's their prerogative. So. No. Just like no Superman movie is going to get DC fans to join because, like I said before, you have people who can't let go of the Superman that's special to them. You still have people bringing up Christopher Reeves, 45 years after Christopher Reeves is Superman. I grew up with Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves was my first Superman, the first Superman I saw in the movie theater. 6-year-old me loved Christopher Reeves. I thought he was great. 48-year-old me has grown up and we need the Superman that fits the times I live in. But you still have people, and it's going to be the same with Cavill. It's going to be the same with any of these guys. They want the storyteller to present to them a Superman, the complete version of Superman that is in their head instead of letting the storyteller tell that story. That was the same mistake that they made with Zack Snyder, and not just critics made the mistake, fanboys made that mistake, pundits made that mistake, and executives made that mistake. And I think that there's potential for them to make that mistake here. Yeah, we're happy about the casting. A lot of people are happy about the casting, but the first time you see that Superman, he's not the fanboy fantasy that you got between your ears. They're going to start shitting in their diapers again, and we're going to be back at square one. The difference that needs to happen now versus back in 2013 is somebody has to back James Gunn. If it's David Zaslav, if he's still in the game, somebody has to back James Gunn when this shitstorm comes, and it's coming. The man babies are already got their diapers ready. They're all ready to shit on this movie. But somebody has got to finally back the storyteller and let him tell his story. Because if you do that, who knows where this character will evolve? Yeah, it may not be for you in the first half of the movie or the first movie. But if you let the storyteller tell his story, who knows where you might end up? Who knows where Zack Snyder's Superman might have ended up? We never let these people finish telling their story. We want our version from our childhood, or we're personally insulted when they do something different. And James Gunn has has a history of doing things different. He has a history of doing things unconventional. So I don't think there's any version of Superman or Batman that's going to bring people together. Now, on the back end, years down the line, I think the people, once they take off the diaper and actually put on the grown up pants, just like they did with previous iterations of Superman that they were just up in arms out, I think if they watch the movies, I think if they give it a chance and let it play out, I think what'll happen to these Superman stories is the same thing that happened to a lot of the guys I talked to back in, from 13 to 17 that told me Henry Cavill was this and that. And then after they watched a couple of movies and actually absorbed them, their opinion about him changed. But I think it's going to be years. I think eventually, yes, Jalen, but not anytime soon, unfortunately. That's just what we are as fans. Poor brother. I think Rachel looks more the part of Lois than Amy ever did. I bought Lois, Amy Adams easy as Lois. Her personality is fine. I didn't mind her having the hair that she had. That was because you could take you could take anybody. You could take a blonde-haired person and make them look like Lois Lane. Like I said, I never really cared too much. I mean, it's kind of cool that this guy looks like Cavill, but that's just more of a, that doesn't mean as much to, as far as what kind of Superman he'll be, because Cavill looks like Superman. But I never really, when somebody tells me that this person looks the part or this person doesn't look the part, then I realize that there are people that are sitting in makeup chairs that have done wonders. Did Colin Farrell look like the Penguin until he did? You take that makeup off of Colin Farrell, oh my goodness. The same guy who played Bullseye in Daredevil, that's the Penguin. Did Danny DeVito look like the Penguin until he did? So it's in Heath Ledger. The makeup people transform these people into the people that they need. So, like I said, I'm going to be okay with just about any casting they have. It doesn't really matter how they look right now, because, like I said, that's the whole thing. Their job is to play somebody that they're not, and then I hand it over to the makeup artist. But like I said, I think she'll do an okay job. Yeah, SoFi Stadium's a nice stadium. I just wish I wish Stan Kroenke had been there when I was a kid. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I think you're screwed, Toronto. Ready? Sorry. Yeah, I don't know how long it's gonna last, but it's coming. Like I said, I'm going to Comic-Con. Still got to find a place to stay, by the way. I think I'm going to be probably sleeping on a bench in a Gaslamp district. But hotels are starting to look good. I'm starting to get some offers and stuff from hotels. Use my VA discount. But yeah, I will be at Comic-Con this year. And the fact that all this stuff is not going to congest Hall H is music to my ears. I'm so happy. What else is new in the fandom? I'm about to watch Secret Invasion, which I enjoyed episode 1. I have Strange New World that's coming on tomorrow. We're going to do our live watch party tomorrow with that dude Vince and everybody else. I spent my weekend watching one of the greatest wrestling matches that I've seen in a long time with Forbidden Door. We got some comic stuff that I'll be going over this weekend. The Ultimate Marvel stuff that they're reintegrating back in, which I thought they should have never done away with. We can talk comic stuff when I'm like at the store, and we can go comic wise there because I can pull stuff out and talk about them. Yeah, that's a good point for us. After tonight, because obviously yesterday the news broke, so it would be remiss if I didn't bring it up. We're going to talk less and less about DC films. We'll still talk DC, like comics and graphic novels and stuff like that. But I just don't see any value right now this far away from anything hitting the screen, at least until a trailer. I'm not too thrilled about what's coming that's left. I will not, I don't plan on seeing Blue Beetle in the movie theaters. Aquaman, who knows? I doubt I'm going to see either of these movies in the theaters. So there, narratively wise, there's just not a lot of DC film talk. And to be honest with you, when there's nothing to talk about, we start having these stupid ass conversations. and then we start getting people, creating, all kinds of just nonsense because there's just no news. And if there's no news to talk about, I'm just gonna like cease these conversations starting, with my next stream, unless there's breaking news. If there's breaking news, if there's a new casting, we'll talk about that for a few minutes. But even in general, I'm not gonna. This will probably be the most time I spend on a casting. And like I said, I'm not saying I don't care, but as of 12:30 a.m. Pacific time, 6/28, 2023, I don't care enough this far away for it to be a significant factor in what we talk about going forward. So I'm getting most of this out of our system tonight. We will not be, this will not dominate the conversation when we get to the Saturday overnighter. We will not dominate the conversation when we start doing our semi-overnighters. It's just going to be, and even if there are questions in the chat regarding it, if it's stuff that we've already pretty much addressed, I'm not ignoring you, but it's just like there are other topics out there I do want to get to. So, and I'm from this point, this show on, we're going to start addressing those topics a little bit more. All right. Let's see. I don't know if he looks like him, but I mean, the fair point has been made that they both look like what Superman looks like in the comic. To be honest with you, for the average fan who doesn't dive into the internet and may not be involved in this stuff, I this is me putting on a foil hat. But if I'm one of those guys that's asking, well, what happened to the last guy that played Superman? And they see a guy that looks a lot like him, might be an easier sell. I'm not saying that's what he did, but I know a lot of people who are on the surface like that that'll be like, that'll be legitimately thinking that that's Cavill. Not the hardcore geeks like us, but you know what? We're the minority, so. All right, William, do you think it's smart for DC now to cut the cord and start fresh and move on to James Gunn's universe with a failure of The Flash and possible failure of Aquaman? They're going to lose boatloads of money either way. I'm starting to lean towards that because of the way these remaining movies were handled, and potentially, we could have done things with these movies to make this easier, and so that they didn't lose. There was a way, in my opinion, to do all this. I explained it, so I won't go into great detail here. I explained it on the Saturday show. It's on YouTube if you want to find it. How they could have done this without losing what's going to be 1.2 billion just in promotion alone. That's not to add on what the movies themselves are going to lose. There's a way to do this. So by the time we're done with this, even if it's something that they should have tried to resolve properly, I don't think there's a way to do it now. So I think they've bought themselves. They've earned where they're at right now, for better or for worse. Because like I said, I think that this is going to affect them taking off with Superman Legacy. I've always said wrecked runways lead to crashed planes. So let's hope that they find enough pieces on the runway to get their wheels on so that they don't nosedive into the tarmac. All right. So far, the only DCU films I'm looking forward to are Swamp Thing and Batman Original, favorite of both. I'm looking forward to the Green Lantern. I'm looking forward to Paradise Lost. Those are the two top ones. Oh, Supergirl World is tomorrow. And that was before I saw Sasha Calle Supergirl. I'm okay with him going forth with his own actress for Supergirl. I am just not going to be okay if I never see her in that role again because I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. All right. Well, with Marvel having more street cred in terms of successful movies and theaters, did I miss something? Oh, no, because Marvel's hit their snag as well, too. And I saw this coming with Marvel quite a way. Listen, guys, I'm not the guy who jumped into every Marvel movie and said it was cinematic, whatever. I like the Captain America movies. I think Avengers 2012 is one of the greatest comic book achievements ever on any level. But I think that of all the movies that they've made, for me, just under half of them were an absolute waste of my time. And if I had a TARDIS, I would go and watch them Most of them meant nothing into the final product, but I was hooked in. That they had me. I was like a fish. I saw that bait and I took it. I'm like, I got to see all these movies. And in hindsight, just under half of them I could have skipped, and it wouldn't have taken away from my enjoyment of the MCU. But I see now though, this the same half of those movies that were mediocre are starting to get criticism now because there isn't those great movies. Aren't those great movies? A Love and Thunder made a lot of money, but substantively it sucked. And there's not an Avengers Endgame to carry that tide. Ant-Man Quantumania, Ant-Man Lost Quantumania was an average movie. But back in the day, they put out average movies and everybody, cheered them like they were gladiators in an arena. But without the Infinity War, without the Winter Soldiers, without, the big hitters and the top tier ones, people are starting to notice that a lot of these movies were just as average as they were then. They're just not anchored by the super movies. So I think Marvel's in the same spot. I don't know if they'll ever reach the level of the Infinity Saga, to be honest with you. And I think in a large part, the audience has evolved from what worked from them from those first 14 years. Because before, something like Secret Invasion, if you released that like right in the wheelhouse of Avengers 2012 or Endgame, you wouldn't have found anybody criticizing it. And that goes for a lot of the mid-grade Marvel stuff that was released. A lot of that mid-grade stuff got released in the midst of some of the best. Captain Marvel was a mid-grade movie. Made $1 billion. Because people will give you the benefit of the doubt when you're putting out stuff like Endgame, when you're putting out stuff like Avengers, when you're putting out stuff like Civil War. Your medium-level movies, it's like I said, a rising tide lifts all ships. But now these ships are just out there. I'm not watching any more comic movies just because I'm just here because you guys like more of the movies. Yeah, and like I said, I am going to make a conscious effort to steer clear because we're capable of, much more. I mean, I watched some of our shows, and the shows that aren't dominated by DC stuff are actually some of our better shows. So I'm going to get back to that. All right. Let's see. I'm about to wrap it up here because it's 45 minutes. Where's my discount version of me? I am the discount version of me. Nope. William is dead. Idris Elba says racist comments turned him off the idea. That's unfortunate. Every now and then I'm reminded that as far as we've moved ahead of all this, we are still stuck in the Cro-Magnon stage. And there are people who, hey, I read that article and I found it very disturbing. Let's see. I'm about to wrap it up. I thought he's miles away from casting their new Batman. I believe him. I think we're a long way down the road. We're probably about another, who knows, probably another year or so, but it all depends. Oh, Will, can you explain to me how James Gunn mishandled Henry Cavill's hits the fans, Man of Steel, that in their minds James Gunn had a duty to bring back Henry as Superman when James Gunn never said that? No, but I explained it in detail on Saturday when and it's not all on him. He's part of it, but it's not all on him. I mean, he has bosses. And like I said, I'm not going to go, Rob, we're nearly into the show, but if you watch the show, and I explained, in my opinion, how this transition could have been handled to not cost them as much money as it's going to cost them. I mean, hundreds of millions in some cases, 1.2 billion just an added loan. He didn't have a duty. duty to bring anybody back, but the people who brought him on, in my opinion, credibility wise and trust wise, and not to end up in a situation where people don't take you seriously as a company because all you've done is not complete stuff. That they had an obligation. You always, as a business owner, have an obligation to put the most complete presentation you could possibly put, beginning, middle, and end. And when you don't do that, you breach the trust factor between you and your customer, no matter what you're selling. So, and like I said, fans know when they didn't get everything that they were supposed to. So I can't really blame them. William, you should watch the machine. It has 2 of the 3Ds. Okay, it's on the list. Yeah, I bought that up. And like I said, because you're not going to get, once they strike, you're not going to see these people. You posted comments on the Cavern channel. Let me look. Oh, by the way, guys, we're going to start migrating some of our shows to be exclusively over on that channel. And no, there's nothing wrong with me and Enosh, anything like that. It's just time. It's just time for me, oops, hold on. It's just time for me to take my training wheels off and see what I can do over there with some of our shows. Okay, let's see. No, your comments are popping up here. I just haven't had a chance to answer them all because I got a lot of questions, but no, I see them both. All right. All right. That's fine with me. That's fine with me. Yeah, he wants to bring him in with the where superheroes already exist. That's cool with me. He's a massive producer. I mean, he's huge. He's huge as far as he's made an impact on not just comic book movies but production in general. So yeah, he deserves it. I didn't get a chance to really dive into that one. As far as United Starkers, I'll have to look at it. I'm not real familiar with that. Love and Thunder is atrocious. Quantumania is no. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't great either. So all right, guys, I am going to head out here. Sorry if I didn't get your question, but it's because this is the Midnight Express, not a full-on overrider. We'll support you wherever channel you're on, William. Yeah, like I said, it's there are right now. Like I said, this was something I had planned, a while back. But when Enosh took his leave of absence, we just did not want this channel to have the kind of frequency that I knew I wasn't going to draw what he drew. This is his house. This is you guys. Majority of you came to this side of our YouTube thing for him. I mean, so. But as we get closer to his imminent return, I'm going to start, getting over and building our own little thing over there because we have our own YouTube studio. Like right now, we go through a lot of the controls we go through what Enosh has set up on Streamlabs, and it's kind of limiting for us because only one person, not StreamYards, and YouTube Studio and everything else. The Sci-Fi Center has its own YouTube studio that we can only do so much, through how we're doing it now. So when Enosh comes back, I'm going to be on, I'm going to be on the panels. I'm going to still do some shows on here, but I'm going to start branching out and doing some larger shows and different types of shows on our channel just to grow it. Like I said, I don't do this for a living. I don't make any money off of it. It's fun for me, but it is an extension of the Sci-Fi Center. It's an extension of our storefront. So as that being the case, I want to start making it as such. So you guys are going to start seeing some different things coming up. Just keep an eye out. Like and subscribe to that page if you haven't already, so you'll get all the notifications and stuff that we have coming up. And on that note, I will see you guys probably tomorrow night. Tomorrow's Wednesday, depending on how I feel. Actually, no, we're definitely going to see you tomorrow night because we'll be doing the Star Trek Strange New Worlds watch party. So, all right, guys, if I didn't get you your question in, put it in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer it. And I will see you later.